Okay, so the more I learn, the more I come to understand that we all have the exact same childhood experiences for some reason. Let me tell you a story, and I'm gonna see if you can recognize any of it, if any of it sounds familiar. So, be me in like third grade art class. I go in, hands on my scrap together pencils that I found under the damn Scholastic Book Fair tables. And I sit at my regular table, and the teacher begins her spiel, and at the end of it, she tells us that we can draw whatever we want for the class period. So I'm thinking, perfect, and go about doing, well, just that. Drawing exactly what I wanted to. I remember there was like army guys fighting skeletons and zombies with guns or something like that. I think there's a ghost flying a helicopter into a building, but you get the picture. It was basically the coolest shit ever, right, in the mind of an 8-year-old, and I mean, it objectively still pretty awesome today, let's be honest. And the teacher's coming walking around, looking at everyone's drawings, and she's like, oh, nice job, and stuff to the girl sitting in front of me. But when she gets to me, immediately her smile fades, and she was pissed. She was not having any of it. She took one look at my drawing and said something along the lines of, we don't draw that kind of stuff here. You know, in the way only a pissed off old boomer could say. In that moment, I think I just kind of froze up, a combination of fear and embarrassment, because keep in mind, she said this loud as fuck. And the next thing you know, I'm sent off to the principal's office for, I don't know, literally just following the direction she gave us in class. And I wasn't the type of kid to get in trouble very often in elementary school either, so, I mean, it was double confusing to my sheltered ass. So I was just sitting outside the principal's office, dread in my stomach, waiting for what would happen next. And I will say, thankfully, this was one of the extremely rare cases where the school principal wasn't a complete lead, gasoline-huffing, mentally deficient boomer. And she was just like, I had to get out of the way. And she was just like, yeah, this is what kids draw or whatever, and thankfully nothing much ever came of it after that. But, oh my god, dude, holy shit. I've heard people explain to me the exact same stories and the fucking nightmare consequences that they have to deal with, like going to therapy and getting medicated for some bullshit at like 8 years old for completely normal 8-year-old behavior. Like, bro, what the fuck? That's pretty wacky. And I'm sure plenty of you, this sort of thing sort of rings a bell. You or someone you know may have had a similar experience, and if so, you may be entitled to financial compensation or whatever. But the point of me saying all this was just to bring up the fact that it's genuinely insane that so many people have had this exact same thing happen to them in school, where a fucking middle-aged, borderline geriatric woman thought they were a threat to society or some shit because they decided to draw something that they thought was cool when they were a kid. Like, why do I, as an 8-year-old, genuinely have beef with this woman over something she told me I could do? But besides that, I think it's just a surface-level symptom of a deeper issue with the public school system in general. I mean, if you have any experience at all being in an institutionalized learning facility, then I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. That environment is specifically designed to break your mind and make you fear stepping out of line in any way. Otherwise, you face the consequences to varying degrees. And this is just one of the first incidents like this in my schooling career, I guess you'd say. I got in trouble for a variety of other bullshit reasons throughout the rest of my time, but that doesn't really matter. I think it's incidents like this that really just prove to me and plenty of other people that the public education system, as it is right now, is a complete fucking joke. I don't mean to say that being educated isn't valuable, obviously, that should be apparent, but I think the complete opposite. Education's one of the most important things you can have. But whatever they try and pass off as education in these fucking institutions is crazy, and the fact that it's been like this for as long as anyone can remember, I mean, at least in the US, I understand that it can be a lot better or worse depending on your country, but goddamn, dude. Walking on eggshells like that for your entire childhood, just sort of living in a constant state of elevated stress, does fuck you up in ways that I don't think we fully realize yet. And the dumbest thing is that literally none of the ways we do anything is conducive to actual human life and the way we function. We seemingly build every system we can to be antithetical to how humans naturally function. But I'm not going to get too broad of scope for this video. I think that's for another time. The thing that got me thinking about this again was this silly little image that I'll probably put up here somewhere on screen. I thought the image itself was pretty funny on a surface level, but it actually did remind me that there was sort of significance, sort of a significant amount of truth behind it. With my own experience and also the experiences of plenty of other people, I think you get teachers like this who are so entrenched within the institution and so programmed by working in that type of field for so long that they sort of immediately despise anyone who doesn't fit exactly the model they're equipped to deal with. So when you're a kid and you do anything that was viewed outside of their limited view that wasn't acceptable, they didn't even know how to react anymore, and they just sort of gotten a bit mind broken at that moment. But the only way you could know how to respond to that, the only way they know how to respond to that is with anger. That's what I meant to say. You ever notice that, by the way? The way that some people aren't able to understand something and their immediate response is anger. Usually a sign of somebody pretty mentally deficient, but anyway, I think it's important to try and recognize how this type of thing influenced your behavior and how it sort of fucks you up, for lack of a better term. But anyway, Virtual Twink is running out of things to say for now. I gotta work up my tolerance on, just freeballing my thoughts into existence. So give me some leeway with that. I appreciate it. Bye now, kitten.